What's going on, Rifters? Good uh, morning, good evening, afternoon. I don't know. Get everything. Be good. Excellent. Hey, what's happening, everyone? Welcome to Wednesday Night Talk VR with Cymatic Bruce. I'm your humble host, Cymatic Bruce. We are here and we are doing it up. Have a lineup of conversation points for you today, tonight, and we're going to talk about these things. And yes, very good, excellent. Oh, let me actually get on Skype for you guys as well. You can hit me up on the Skype at Cymatic.Hitbox. And there we go. So we can have some conversations, go back and forth, this and that and that and this, and that'll be cool. So yeah, what do we have on the agenda today? What is going on? We have a couple of things that are happening. Let's see if I can just pull this up. Here we go. And sweet. Very good. Here we go. Talk VR number 4. What is going on? This is going on. We're going to start by ask me almost anything. Whatever you want, ask me. Ask me something. Then we're going to go from there, talk about a little bit about this Facebook plus Oculus. The business sector is now finally talking about this, well, talking about it more and seeing what's going on there. Then we have maybe some discussion on player Locomotion VR, see how that works out. We'll talk about cinema in VR, not VR Cinema the app, but VR movies, VR cinema. We have Jaunt VR, which is on the scene. James Cameron, the famous director, has talked about VR, and of course Sir Attenborough is in the mix as well. And then we have a little bit of discussion maybe we'll get to about the VR arcade. What does that look like? Is it viable? What are we going to do about that? We got a little bit of discussion about that last time, so we are going to revisit that subject a little bit, which is cool. So there we have it. We have all types of things happening. Mega Man is still there. He's in the chat. What's up, Mega Man? Keep doing your thing, buddy. So like we can I feel like Strong Man, you're over here just banging his head there. You keep doing your thing there, buddy. Alright, very good. New SDK action. I still must download the new SDK. Good lord, it's amazing. Yes, so many tabs in the browser. Each one is an article that is going to be a conversation starter, and that is why. Very good. So let's take a look. What's up, everyone? People, let me say hi to some people here in the chat. Caliber, my beautiful mod. Thank you. Hello. Good evening, sir. CM Bot is just playful as ever. I love that. Love that bot there. Red Clover, Fist of Bacon, Nico in the house. What's happening? Thank you for the set, Nico. I appreciate it, my friend. Oh, the legendary Nate is in the house. Achilles 1, what's up? Ghost 55. Gunter is here. Dark Akuma, what's happening? Oh, it wasn't you, Nico Kun. It was another Nico, right? Aha. There we go. Hello from Brazil. Capivara's in the house. Dubs. The Dubs. Gnome Tech. What's going on? What is happening? The Shadow knows, and he's here as well. There's so many Nikos around here. There's lots of Nikos. All right, very good. So this is what we're doing. As usual, we start VR talk with kind of a ask me whatever. If you have some questions about some things, then ask me. I'm involved in so many things. For those of you that might be new to the stream, I am a part of the Road to VR team, so I have access to news and other things like that. I get all kinds of software from all over the place from all kinds of developers. So if you had questions about certain games, certain software, I've been to CES and GDC. If you had questions about the Morpheus, about the Crystal Cove, about the Dev Kit 2, how is Joseph Chin in person? Is he a cool guy? Exactly what is the temperature of Brendan Uribe's hand when you shake it? How tired does Palmer Luckey look when you look into his eyes? I can answer all of those questions for you. Very very nice. What else do we have going on here? I'm also part of Silicon Valley Virtual Reality, so there's that as well. So SVVR, we have a thing coming up with our conference and expo, so that's awesome. So that's beautiful. What? We can't. Oh, can't hear you. Oh no. Okay. Excellent. Most people are not having audio issues. Refresh, we are VR. Refresh, my friend. Do it. Very good. Tron Light Cycle Rift Cabinet. I was on that from the very beginning, and we will be talking about that. That is on my list. That is in the tabs. Ba-boom, ba-boom. There we go. All right. So ask me some questions, people. Let's ask some things. And I need to change the poll. Oh, I love how every time I come back to Hitbox, it's what happened? What happened, Micah? No, you are not shunned. Oh, I didn't see you, man. I only have my eyes in so many places. Would I rather date date Chun-Li or Sonya? Chun-Li or Sonya, dude? Oh my goodness. I think I have to date Chun-Li. Those thighs, bro. Oh my goodness. She has the bangingest thighs ever. Jeez. Oh, Chun-Li, man. Those boots and those thighs, they just do it. They just do it. Very good. A new question about the SDK. That's great. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the documentation. There's a lot in there. I think it's mainly getting some preliminary compatibility with DK2, and it has a lot of things going on the back end, solving some issues from what I've read. But I don't know if there's any graphical things different. I know that there's some sensor things that are supposed to be improved, some tracking things. So yeah, that are going to improve latency. So I'm not sure if there's any other graphical things that's going on there that I noticed or read. I mean, I didn't get a chance to read it in depth. It's been a crazy week, you guys. It is, and it's just going to get crazier. We have some exciting announcements upcoming for the SVVR Expo, svvr.com. We will have a conference and expo. We have a lot of speakers, some companies that are aboard, and that's going to be interesting indeed. Very nice. And my internet is just failing me. It's not even loading up. Okay, fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine, computer. Whatever you want to do, just do your thing. That's cool. It's just not gonna load, so that's fine. Blah. Boom. Yeah, CMBot is on it. CMBot is greeting everyone. That's what I'm talking about. I could deal with that. Beautiful. So, yes, more questions. More questions, more questions. Or just give me a call, say hello. There we go. We have some folks there getting some. There we go. Excellent. So if you want to call in on Skype, Cymatic.Hitbox, give me a call, or just ask me some questions, or we can just dive into the first thing that we'll be talking about tonight, which is this Facebook and Oculus craziness. So we'll see. Oh, we have someone already. Here we go. Thank you for calling TalkVR with Cymatic Bruce. What's happening, Nuke Marine?
Not much. Just thought I'd give you the first call of the day.
That's what I'm talking about. All right.
All right, since this is a anything goes, I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, someone got an idea last night. I posted, and some people seemed to get excited, so I just thought I'd bring it up here. Since we're going to be having VR chats, that's obvious. You want to have live conversations here and go. But let's say you got something like, well, first things first. Firebox got renamed to Janus VR. So the owner,
Oh
for,
yes. All right.
for a specific reason, I think one, he didn't want to get confused with Firefox, even though he kind of named it after Firefox.
Yeah.
But with the Janus, I guess like the Greek god Janus, which is named January, is named after that, the god of portals or of transitions. So it kind of makes sense for a VR system that allows you to traverse the internet or the web links as if they're each different locations. Makes sense there.
Yeah. Very cool. That's a very cool name. Like it. All right.
The other thing I thought of while you're traversing these websites, one of the ideas was that it will be interactive. So if you're there and somebody else is there, you'll see them actually on the same web page, looking at whatever it is. Whether you're at Amazon watching something being ordered, or you're at YouTube happen to be watching the same video. Okay, that makes sense. But if you've ever been in Japan, Japan had something that was the equivalent of YouTube called Nico Nico. Have you heard of that?
Absolutely. I'm signed in and I have a Nico Nico account.
So your other viewers may not know, but what Nico Nico does is the comments are streamed across the video at roughly around the same time that they were posted on the video mark, which is kind of interesting. So you can get like commentary from all the other people who have watched the video.
Yeah.
So using that idea, I thought, well, what if you did that with VR when you're at a location? So you would have something called what I would call a visitor ghost. So essentially, it's sort of like the video or the website where it was recording the mouse movements of all the users.
Yeah.
And they were showing the video at the same time. And it was kind of an interesting experience.
Very
this would be
cool.
visitor ghosts, where you could see like the last 10 to let's say 50 people who have visited that site, and you get to see how they were maneuvering through that site. So you feel like you're not alone. You're actually seeing what other people are doing at that site, maybe seeing what they were looking at. And at the same time, again, you can do chat bubbles, so you just see what their comments popping up when they were at that location. So it doesn't feel like you're alone in a ghost town, even though technically you're surrounded by people who were there, even if they're not there at that present moment.
Very cool. Oh man, that's a
And I
stellar
think
idea. That's very cool.
now, so I was hoping like the guys that were doing Rift Max, if they can look into that, and that let's say people who go to a YouTube or a video stream, it kind of records like have other people do it, so you get to see like, hey, I wanted to see what other people were doing when they were watching this, and maybe what they were talking about. Again, it's just something. It makes it less of a solitary experience, even if you're not happen to be on at the exact same time. Just
Yeah.
one of those ideas that you can do in VR that maybe doesn't make as much sense with when you're on a two-dimensional screen, just reading comments, scrolling down. Because that's one thing I never liked about YouTube, is that all the comments are straight down. And you got to be limited, because again, 5,000 comments is going to
Yeah, it's gonna
flood
be
the
out of
screen.
control.
All right. Well, anyway, those
yeah.
are just a couple of things that I thought I'd bring up that seemed interesting.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's very cool. I think there's something like that that's being done by. I've got a Wii U, and I've got the Super Mario 3D World game. And then when you go to like a certain world, there'll be like just like other characters, like they'll be their avatar, and they'll be posting like whatever the person wrote and whatever message they left at that spot, and looking at the same thing in the game. So it's really cool when you walk up to somebody, is like, they have some snide remark like, "Isn't that tunnel look kind of stupid?" Like, like, that tunnel does look dumb. It is really great. SoundCloud does a similar thing as well. Well, they have comments that'll pop up like a song is playing, and you'll see when someone, like, you can assign a time signature to a comment, which it makes so much difference, because you'll hear something and then see something pop up. Oh, that's sick! You're like, yes.
Right.
So that would be very neat. I would love to have that kind of thing incorporated, so you get like a kind of as close to a real-time reaction as you could, right? So.
Well, because I wonder, I don't play online games, but I assume like, have they done stuff like this for online games already? Like, or we don't need to reinvent the wheel? Because I would figure one of the things I played, only one online game I played was RuneScape, and one thing that you notice with those games is like, you get into these ghost areas where you're the only one there, and it kind of feels like, okay, this feels boring. But if you see what other people are doing, that could have been fun.
Yeah, yeah. The only game I've seen anything close to has been like Mario on the Wii U, which it was very cool. I would love to see more of that because I mean you've had racing games when you have like a ghost, you can get a player's ghost in a race or something like
Yeah,
that, and that's
that's what got me. That's where I thought of it from.
yeah, yeah, definitely. You can go from there, but I would love to see more places, especially like if there was like a Rift Max and it was like a recorded show or something within Rift Max, and then you can maybe have people see how they reacted in the crowd or something like that. That would be cool.
I'm sure you had that fun when you watched the Riff Max videos, like of their karaoke or discussion days.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'd be like, whoa, that'd be so sweet. Awesome. I'm liking that idea. That's sweet. Thank you, man.
Okay.
Sweet. Oh,
Uh, Want me to hang up now? Or?
oh no, you go. If you have something else, go to give it to me.
I didn't even see what the subjects are for the day.
Yeah,
I
what do
think
we got subjects for the day? Subject for the day, we've got a few things. We are got, well, we're going to open up with this Facebook plus Oculus. There's still a lot of conversation going on in the business sector about this. How has your opinion or your take on this, has it changed over the last couple weeks? Do you feel different about it? Is it pretty much the same the whole way? Like, what do you feel, man?
I think when this came out, I think I was pretty vocal in defense of this move. I'm pretty sure I can go back. I don't think I even had that negative reaction off the beginning. I thought that this sounded like a good move, and it only improved from there. Such as once you heard how fast it came about, you could almost hear that. Okay, this is Zuckerberg geeking out. This is he did. If we had a couple billion to spare, we would have done the exact damn thing.
Yeah.
We saw Oculus. I loved it so much about the company. I mean, this was it, and you can believe it because this is a company that got Carmack, and now they got Abrash.
Yeah.
Now you're hearing that because of the stability that Facebook brings financially to Oculus, Abrash. That's the reason why Abrash could come on board because he couldn't do it. Like if it's okay, as soon as the first major competition hit Oculus, they would have went down to second or third place, even if they offered the best product. But now they don't have to worry about that. They can hit just as hard when it comes to offering like, the economies of scale when it comes to developing. So that's good. And in place, you know what? You've played with Rift Max. You've done this. You've done the VR chat. You've seen the social aspects that virtual reality can bring. And like it or not, Facebook can bring that structure that they have for the 2D online experience and bring it to the virtual reality online experience. And because again, they do have that infrastructure, and you don't have to build from scratch.
Definitely. I'm definitely on board with you when it comes to having that great sense of social. Even like the very first thing I think I got a social type of feeling from was doing Minecraft of all things. It was so weird, and the thing is that we basically got onto Minecraft and did nothing. Like we would walk around and talk to each other. Like I've spent 30 minutes in Minecraft, like 10 of us all in a circle looking at each other while we're talking, and it was so weird. But it was like it was just hanging out in VR, and it was like I think that's the potential there is humongous to just have a place to go and put on the freaking the Rift and have the environment be whatever you want and just chill and shoot the shit or whatever and just hang out. I mean, yeah.
And there's going to be some amazing experiences with that. Like go back to what I was discussing about the whole VR ghost thing.
Exactly.
Like when you were talking about the discussion, one of the things is like we noticed early on, why are we always get into a circle and we're always looking at each other when we talk? I mean, you probably noticed that with the VR, with the Minecraft, but it happened in VR chat, it happened in Rift Max. It's just something natural happens when you're looking at the person that's talking, and there's something so natural and visceral about it. It's going to be a very strong application, and again, that's the strength that Facebook can help bring to this. If they can capitalize on that part early, and that could be any VR. Not just happen to be Oculus. The other thing I was mentioning about the whole, visitor ghost thing is that how would you react if you, again, what I was talking like space these people out. So it's not like you get there and now all of a sudden you see how 100 other people are doing when they got there exact same time. You may be getting there and then One is like 100 seconds into the recording, 50 seconds, 40, 30, and then later on, 10 seconds after you got there, 20 seconds. So it always feels like you're seeing people in different times going through this same event.
Yeah.
So, and so it's not even a ghost thing. I wanted, like, if you saw somebody, even if it's a ghost, talk and make a conversation, how would you reply to that? It was like, this would be a great social experiment. Are we reacting to the person there, or just the idea that they brought up, and at what time?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a nice thing you could probably try out because I did that with Nico. You saw a conversation go across the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, and make a reply.
That would be, oh man, yeah, that's a very interesting concept. What if you had like a turn-based conversation? That would be.
Sounds boring.
It sounds boring, but then
Johnny, raise your hand before you talk.
Yes.
Press the those the old voice chat ones where you had to hold down the mic and you got control of it, and then one guy would bogart the freaking microphone.
Yeah. Like, whoa, no.
But it's going to make schooling also interesting. But,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there's a lot of very great social potential there, and also just a lot of great, just like that, having those interactions, and being able to see, how someone else reacted to a certain situation, even if, hey, they're not there doing that in real time, but you're still able to see what they did, and maybe even body language depending on their controller and all that. That could be really cool. Very cool.
On top of that, Palmer on his video that I think what was the last conference he went to?
PAX East, I think, or I think that was the last one. He
was mentioning that about the social aspects of, everybody's going to say, well, you're at your computer, you're just going to be withdrawn from society. I think actually it's the opposite. You get actually more involved in society.
Yeah.
But I was realizing this from when we were doing text-based, like with message boards and whatnot, because I would go back and I'd look at all my old messages and I'd do a word count, and it's like I've written a freaking novel.
Yeah.
In replies.
Yeah. Definitely.
And these are not the old little one-word little canned responses. I mean, these are thought-out replies. These you can post together. And okay, I'm not face-to-face. I'm not like, well, I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. People are listening to me talk. And this is a conversation. This is social.
Yeah.
Right? It was social when I was on the web typing. And I was conversing. I was getting my idea across. I was receiving ideas of others. I was influencing others. People were influencing me. That's social. And it's going to be even, and you already see it with the VR. It's like it was even more social because you are in a group. You are conversing. You are respecting that social thing that maybe didn't happen with the, when it was happening with Facebook, where you can be insulting because you got that separation of time. But with the VR aspect, that separation goes away. Now you got that live aspect that maybe that respect comes back to the online social environment that it kind of went away. Because it is your voice. You are talking. It's not through the keyboard. And maybe that can help. Although it could be wrong, because I guess you play Xbox Live. Everyone's...
That's true.
How many people have had sex with your mother so far?
Exactly, right? It's like, oh, man. I don't know. We've had a couple trolls in VR chat, and they've been, trolling. But for the most part, it has been a very interesting experience where you have these very natural, automatic, subconscious almost type things that happen where people naturally arrange themselves in circles and people kind of find a way, even though you have no real indicators or lips moving or anything, like people still talk one at a time. It's really fascinating to observe how some of these things are emerging as we participate in these social VR experiences. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
And that's only going to improve, especially when you're looking at someone, if they make it to where the eyes are sort of set, so the eyes kind of control and will center on the, let's say, point of interest. That'll help, and that'll give them a lot more life. And when you talk, the avatar's voice or mouth will move. That'll make it a bit more kind of like the comment they made about Half-Life 2 is like it feels the avatars feel smarter.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
And that'll. People are going to ban it or not. They're going to pan it saying it's dissocial or whatnot, or, why don't you go outside? It's like, or why don't you go to France? It's like, I can't go to France. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't. I get to experience it first. As close as I can without going there, I'm all for it. Just the fact of craning my head, looking up to the Eiffel Tower when you go to, Google Street View.
Yeah.
Or you go to the, demo that was out there where you're actually visiting, the replica of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's very neat.
Then you get that one small freak out when you go to the observation tower
Yeah.
and you realize that your camera on your computer has been activated and you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
That was the kind that was a nice freak out, but it's something that is that can be put into games. It's interesting.
Yeah, totally agree. Very cool. Like, yeah.
All right. So let's get some other people on here. Hey guys, call up. Come on.
There we go. There we go. Excellent. Thanks, Nuke, man. I appreciate it. Good
I'll call back
stuff.
to another subject.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Thanks for the chat.
Oh, no problem. Sweet. That's what I'm talking about, man. We're getting this show started right. Here we go. Oh my. We have some calls coming in. Holy crap. All right, let's start with the Gunter. Thank you for calling TalkVR with Cymatic Bruce. What's happening, my man?
Not much. How you doing, Bruce?
Man, I'm doing well. First, let me just say...
First time caller.
Oh, yes. Welcome. Welcome. Your beard is rocking. Dude, I love
thanks.
it. Nice.
It's been growing it for a little while.
Freaking regal.
It's really easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't cut it.
Yeah, my hair is like pieces of plastic wire. It doesn't function like I need it to. But, dude, yes. What's going on? What's on your mind? Tell me something here.
Sure. So talking about RiffMax, kind of segueing from there, and Nuke Ring is, so awesome. I love hearing his thoughts and reading about them. So that was a great call. But segueing from RiffMax, I kind of have some self-promotion to do. I actually have a show starting there on Friday, and wanted to pimp it a little.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard. Have you heard about the show yet?
I have. I've seen the messages, and I'm very busy. But yes, continue. Tell more about the show.
Cool, thanks. It's called Virtually Incorrect with Gunter S. Thompson. So I'm Gunter, and it's going to be a talk show about how to do VR right. It's going to be a discussion panel with 4 guests every week, Friday night. Friday night if you're in the United States. So it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time. So what that is for everybody else, they'll have to go and quite, figure that out. But I'll be posting about it in the Reddit and whatnot, so you'll be able to get the details there. But I just wanted to drum up some excitement. So it's going to be a discussion panel. The RiffMax guys made me a really cool set there that I'm really, just excited about. It's fun. And there's going to be some chance for the audience to attend and participate. So we're looking for about 12 people to be in the audience every week. So if anybody's interested in checking out this new show on Friday and wanted to be in the audience to be up close, please send me a message in the chat here or on my Reddit, Gunter444. Or when I post, you can reply to that. But yeah, it's just going to be this great discussion panel. We got the great Nate as one of the guests on Friday. We have Rev Kyle, we have Wormslayer, and we have Olivier.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, these are some great guests. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about doing it weekly. It's a Friday night thing. I hope you guys can make it. And, in some ways I'm terrified, but I'm mostly just really excited about, starting a show and really this discussion type of show I think is going to be really cool. And I hope maybe you'll be on it someday too.
I will. I do plan to do it on doing that. Yes. So yes. That sounds awesome. I love the idea of it and the format that you explained. I think that's very cool. So neat.
So that's basically it. Yeah, we got some great guests. We're gonna keep it up. I'm gonna have try to have a developer on every time. Some kind of talking head, a podcast or something like that. I think Matt Stomps is going to be one of the next people that'll be on the next shows. And also have enthusiasts as well. Just, I consider myself mostly an enthusiast. I have a web developer career that I'd like to learn more about, developing and being basically a 3D artist. So I'm kind of, working on that kind of stuff with Metatron. And an artist there, mostly doing the website right now, but learning from Mitch and some of the other guys, and just love being a part of that whole team that we were able to kind of put together with Nate and Micah and Max and Additives, and there's more. Wormslayer and a whole bunch of friends, including yourself, that have just been able to help us, do things that we want to do, and so it's been really important. So. Yeah, now I'm just yakking away, and so really appreciate you letting me call in and pimp my show. It's really great.
Oh man, no problem. My pleasure. Oh man, very excited to see it and very soon participate in it. And congrats on Metatron as well. The website is rocking, dude. Well done.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it
Appreciate
kicks all kinds of ass. So awesome. Yes.
Great, Bruce.
Sweet. All right, Gunter.
Thanks a lot, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Excellent
Catch you
job.
next time.
I'll catch you next time. All right.
Thanks, bye.
All right, bye. So I'm talking about the Gunter S. He's a beautiful man with an epic beard. It's amazing. The Dan Bopes is in the building as well. He's from Hitbox. What's up, Dan? I saw your message, man. I didn't want to interrupt anyone and say anything, but yes, so glad you're there. Up the Dubs. Thank you for calling Talk VR with Cymatic. Bruce, what's up, Dubs?
Hey, looks like you picked me. I didn't know what was going on.
I have no idea what's going on. It's all over the place. But we'll.
Oh, man.
There's so many. As soon as the call gets over, it's like three, four things pop up.
It's really hard to figure out when you should hit call. I mean, you just gotta slam it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I need like the. I need like the online equivalent of like the phone, the DJ phone thing when I can like put people on hold and like say, all right, next. I don't know. I haven't found a program that does that yet. That'll be cool. But what's on your mind, man? Tell me something.
Well, I was just gonna. Well, first off, I have a couple things, I guess.
Yeah.
Nuke Marine's idea, like when he was talking about it, it made. Have you played Dark Souls, by the way?
I've not played Dark Souls at all.
There's a mechanism in the game for like to see player ghosts that other players have done for brief moments of time, so you can see what other people are doing in the same area. And if they die, they'll leave, you know, like blood on the ground, and they can leave messages and things along those lines in between games. And that's what, like, it immediately brought to my mind when he was talking about ghosting. That's immediately what I thought of, is that kind of player mechanism. So it's not like you're seeing all players at the same time, but you're seeing a random player that was in the same area doing something you're doing right now. And while he was talking about it applied to videos, I kind of imagined the same concept, and that sounds really cool to me. Because Dark Souls, that works really well. It helps the game feel alive.
Definitely, I can agree. I've not got a chance to play Dark Souls. From Software is one of my favorite companies. They're the company that makes Dark Souls, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've loved them since like back in the day with some of the old PlayStation 2 mech titles they used to make. Yeah, and those were difficult as well. But yeah, that sounds like an awesome idea that they have like ghosting like that, where they have people, you know, it's like, oh, just see what this person did, and like, oh my god, I got killed so fast, or something like.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they can leave a hint, or you know, that's awesome. I love that degree of feedback. It's really awesome.
Next thing, I guess, I'm just gonna go through all these.
Go for it.
The other. When you were talking about, again, Facebook briefly.
Yeah.
I think, did you see Palmer's? He put a Facebook post up.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
The funny one is like, yeah, guys, this is just for the friends. That company I founded just got bought by Facebook.
By $2 billion.
$2 billion. Just want to let me know because I still have friends and family asking me about what's going on with my game company thing. It's like, I just imagine like his aunt coming up. So Palmer, how's that game box thing you're working on? Is that like, exactly. You know, are you going back to school or what's going on? You know, and like, oh,
his mom's sitting around with her friends and they're like, oh, my son's a lawyer, oh, my son's a doctor, oh, my son sold, you know, company for $2 billion. No big deal.
No big deal. Oh yeah, he just turned 21, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. He was in this small publication called Forbes. Oh my sweetie pie. So yeah, I just it was a funny post.
That's the only thing I have to say about that, I guess.
So hilarious. When I read that post, I was like, wow, how? Oh my goodness, yeah, it was funny. It was very funny.
Next up on my list, I want to hear your impressions on Star Citizen. What'd you think?
Impressions on Star Citizen. Oh my goodness, that's a great question. So I watched the live stream of the multiplayer and also just the whole demonstration that Chris Roberts did. Very cool. So I think first of all, Chris Roberts and RSI, dude, so brave, dude. That's got to be one of the bravest things to do to get
Insane.
up at PAX in front of drunk gamers, not just gamers, drunk gamers. They did the freaking presentation at a bar and freaking
Showing off a
showing off
pre-alpha.
the
Yeah,
pre-alpha. Like we just barely got this working stage.
exactly.
So that's the first, like, just mad props to them for that. Secondly, the game is that's some major stuff they have going on, like the Newtonian physics, the actual thrusters that all function. That's a huge part of functional gameplay that's working right now, which is like, yes.
And the environment that the Manchester office worked on for the dogfighting module is beautiful. It is beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Like, oh, you look at screenshots and usually when you're getting screenshots of a game at this stage of development, they're bull shots. You know, they're
Yeah.
it's scripted stuff if they're videos, or if they're doctored screenshots or whatever. They did all this stuff in real time and right in front of you, and he made all kinds of like hiccups and mess ups, crashed the freaking ship into like
He would
little
he
thing
would
of
hill the
tires.
asteroids and not explode, and then he would touch the landing pad and blow up right then.
He just exploded, and it was so cool. It was like, oh my God. Yeah. So just kept a stiff upper lip with all the the problems and setbacks, but it made it so real and alive. And then when everyone, like, you know, that second or third time through, when everyone's like, helmet, helmet, helmet,
Yeah.
that was really awesome, dude. That helmet part when he just like flips it and I'm like, oh.
I'm glad people can manage their expectations, because I feel like there's been a lot of really positive feedback about it rather than any negative about the bugs. People understand the bugs, which I'm glad about.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that, you know, I think part of it is that people are just invested so much and are just so excited to see anything. They're just like, yeah, I knew this game was going to be sick. So people are just really focused on the positive. But I think the other part of it is that, you know, it's great to see this kind of, you know, development in the game community where we're having more and more of these indie developers releasing stuff like early access, releasing alphas. And you know, you're still getting a whole lot of the, oh dude, I don't understand why this doesn't work, and you know, and it's an alpha, but you're getting a lot more of the gamers that are understanding more about what goes into development and that energy and time that's involved, and
You can see the amount of work they're doing on it and just be amazed at if you know about game development, the sheer amount of content they're able to create at this stage is amazing.
Absolutely, it's forming a relationship that I think is very unique, and it's educating the consumer base about their hobby, which is I think a great thing to do.
It got them to 42 million.
Hell yeah, that's all the way, man. They just got that money rolling in. I'm so excited for Star Citizen, and I'm so excited for Elite Dangerous. Like, I'm ready to just have a renaissance of space shooters, dude. Like, I think we're gonna talk about this in the VR arcade section, but I think that might be the thing. Like, if I was gonna start a business, I think it would just have to be Starship Central. It'll be like 5 different like space shooter experiences, and there would just be all kinds of stats tracked and just all this real-time universe, perpetual universe stuff. Oh, it'd be awesome.
In my opinion, like, any cockpit game is going to be a killer app for like VR.
Yeah.
As far as games go.
I think so. I think cockpit games are going to be where it's at. I think it's going to be a dominant genre in VR.
And if only I could afford the $270 Elite Dangerous Alpha.
Exactly. If only I can get in on that alpha.
That's the one thing that's holding me back.
Exactly.
It's like ridiculous right now.
I understand why it's that price, but I want to play it so bad. Oh man. But I also kind of want to try to build one of those crazy hydraulic things when it's like moving you all around. That would be so cool.
I see people building these things, and I just think you're gonna get crushed or something when they
Yeah,
build their
like,
homemade hydraulics, though.
Why are you making a death machine in your basement? What's wrong with you? But yeah, it's so exciting though. I find it very interesting. Very interesting.
Next month, We can all jump in, probably.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's when it's releasing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be probably next month for Star Citizen, and then there's like a month and a half left on Alpha for Elite Dangerous, I think.
Yep.
Maybe something like that. So that's exciting. So there's going to be some quality VR dogfighting action going on very, very soon.
And you can start your org, right?
There we go. I'm starting the org.
Yep,
Finally.
Cymatic Conglomerate, or whatever it's going to be called.
Yes.
Cycorp.
Cycorp. We'll do it.
That was a much longer topic than I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Oh no, that's awesome. That would work for me.
Now, I only have one other little thing before I let it go to someone else here.
Yeah, slap it down.
Did you hear about Sony trademarking social VR terms, or trying to?
I saw the headline on that. That was that's interesting. I'm very interested to see what's gonna happen. Like, everyone's trying to patent things now, and it's interesting to see what's going to get patented. I'm not.
Patent wars are just the most annoying thing to me, though.
I'd really just like to see that die. I mean, it's like, you know what, the concept of VR, especially in its current form, it seems so general. I hope that it's just, because essentially, I mean, what's unique about the idea? It's almost the same with the old ass stereoscope, right? So it's just using a screen instead. But I don't know. Yeah.
What they were patenting were like just the phrases, though, and it shows you kind of what they're aiming for like their experience. I think they filed couch multiplayer, social screen, and social VR to try to get them at the Japanese patent offices.
Oh my goodness, that's so broad. How can
it's like incredibly broad.
God, dude, it's just like King and like freaking. We want to trademark Candy and Saga. And Crush. Like, come on, dude. Like, we pick these words out of the dictionary, and we believe that we should own them. Like, come on, man.
Except it's like not even a joke, because things like that happen all the time.
It's actually happening. You say it out loud, and it's laughable, but it's actually on the books and legal, and it's ridiculous. Like, yeah. It's like,
On that high note,
yeah.
I'll let you go.
All right, Dubs. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. See you later.
All right. See you later. All right. Thank you for calling in. Talk VR with Cymatic Bruce. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Cymatic? How are you doing this evening?
Man, I am doing well. It is a nice night over here in California. It's comfortable, so we're doing well. Doing well.
God, I hate you, dude. 'Cause, we got snow here.
Oh yes.
It sucked.
Oh man. Yeah, I know that this weather's nuts for people all over the place. It's yeah. The latest thing I saw was looks like some conclusions are saying that it's China. China's pollution is influencing our weather. I'm like, that'll be messed up, but man, that would suck if that's true.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, what do you want to add to this, man? What do you got, some thoughts about Facebook plus Oculus, or some thoughts about something else going on? What's happening?
Hey, dude. So I basically just wanted to give you a call and first basically say that I watch your shows all the time and all that, and I think they're really cool.
Thanks, man.
The second thing I want to go ahead and, or the first thing I wanted to ask you was, I know you're like into physics and all that, and basically doing like teaching and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I live in a college town, and just demoing the Rift and whatnot.
Totally.
What would you recommend for demos that are like more of college educational type theme?
Absolutely. What I would recommend, definitely Titans of Space is way up there. In all of this, like this space exploration things that Blue Marble, Titans of Space, and there's an astronaut one that was done by a great guy from USC. Those are all phenomenal and very very heady. And also the Worldwide Telescope, very academic type program, but very cool. You can kind of see like the solar system, and it zooms in and out on each planet, and has like trajectories and orbits and things like that. Very cool. Very cool to check out. So definitely would recommend that. So that definitely you'll get a kick out of that. Or the college age. I think it's also great for any of like the video stuff, like the recently released, Exploring Japan, or any of like the 360 videos. I think that's great to show people. And even if it's like Video Player One or VR Cinema or something like that, where they can kind of see the potential of like, hey, like watching a 3D movie in the Rift is a very interesting experience because there's no crosstalk and no, like, you get a perfect 3D picture just just in front of you. It's really wild watching a 3D movie in like VR Cinema, and it's like, you're just sitting in a movie theater and this huge screen in front of you is like a window into the world of that movie. I think that's one of those things that's it's subtle, but it's also kind of mind-blowing as well. It's very cool. So I'd recommend that for sure. And then, some people are going to want to get into some action.
Oh yeah.
And they, want to get in there. And I think, oh man, let's see. I'm looking at my list here of good stuff. There's a few that are awesome. I think War Thunder and Strike Suit Zero are both excellent.
I tried playing Strike Suit Zero, and for some reason it got me really motion sick.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. It's like it have some weird effects, and it have some just the position of the camera in some places is not all that great, and the HUD is way too close, and there's a lot of things that are not right. So hey, I mean, if that doesn't do it for you, then definitely try something else. But there's I would say a space shooter, like a cockpit shooter, is definitely worth showing off and checking out. People definitely dig that. Trench Run, but that's not publicly available, unfortunately. But that was really cool. But it's like, oh no. Yeah, that's good stuff. I would say stuff that has a cockpit, that has a frame of reference, is good. There's a lot of good flight stuff where it's just like free body floating, but I think that's not good for a first time showing someone something. I would say Time Rifters is also excellent for like a first time, like a gamer that really wants to get into something that's cool. I would say Time Rifters is something cool to have people check out. Yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check those out, and I appreciate your input on that.
No problem, man. My pleasure.
I wanted to basically ask you one more thing here.
Sure.
And I know we're pretty much all optimists about VR and, how big this is really going to hit humanity and how it's going to be just bring us into like a new age type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of taking off the rose-colored glasses, if you will, what do you think are going to be some of the downfalls for VR?
Great point to bring up. I think actually, let me check out switch to this article here. This is actually a cool article that was done in Tech Republic, which was kind of addressing that a little bit. Where this is kind of a situation where it's, very very smart people, CIOs in companies, and a lot of the tech feeling from executives is like, this is great, this is super exciting. This is not at the stage where it's consumer adoption stage. It's not there yet. It's not the next big thing yet. This is going to be the type of thing that's going to be a huge hit with the hardcore PC gamer.
Right.
I think that's the big thing. I think it's going to be the big, like, okay, this is totally a gaming platform and gaming peripheral for probably the first 2 to 3 years of this thing's life, because you're going to have people that are going to try it and get excited, but very few of them are going to go out and buy a $1,500 PC so that they can play the experience they want.
Right.
So I think that's the adoption angle. Until it's a standalone system where everything's packed in, like the Game Face or like the portable VR solutions, it's not going to be, adopted by the mass public like yet.
Well,
So I don't think that's gonna
I
you know.
I almost kind of disagree with that to almost.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is definitely for the first edition of the consumer release, it's only going to be the hardcore gamers, and it's going to, trickle down to some, softcore enthusiasts. But I think in the second, more than likely the second consumer release, because computers will be so advanced by then that it'll be able to run flawlessly on a $200 or $300 machine.
That might be true. I mean, that might just be the case, And I think, and then the question is, how long after Consumer Unit 1 do we get Consumer Unit 2? Is it a year? Is it 2?
I think it's going to be about, I would say between 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, 2 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it getting to a point where you're gonna have some machines are gonna be able to push some great great frame rates, stereoscopic, great graphics for a much cheaper price. And then machines that are going to cater to that too. There's going to be an opportunity there for Steam boxes and maybe other manufacturers to kind of try to slide in there, be like, hey, you want to get on this VR thing? Here's this $600 system that'll give you everything you need. So I think we'll see a lot of that too. But yeah, I can agree with that. I think 2 to 4 years down the line, I think it's going to be a big upswing. Yeah, I think the other downfalls I think are it's going to be content. I think, and right now it's not so much as a downfall as if because there's a lot of people out there that are working on stuff. I think it's a point of we need to get some of these developers paid. I think that's a big part of it. I think there's some indie developers with some great ideas, and I think Oculus needs to throw some of that money around and get these people published. Because it's not going to be like Ubisoft or maybe not even EA. I think it's going to be Sony and Oculus are going to have to be kind of footing the bill so that these developers can actually eat while they're developing these games. So, yeah.
I'll make one side comment to that. When you mentioned Oculus and Sony,
yeah,
I'm kind of wondering if behind the scenes, if Oculus and Microsoft haven't came to an arrangement, because throughout this entire thing, Microsoft has been eerily silent.
Yes, this is true, very much so, and I'm wondering what's going on behind closed doors at Microsoft, and we've known their research has been a lot, very involved in some immersive gaming, not necessarily VR, but definitely some interesting projector stuff, like projecting around the living room type things, and there was some, I think some foveated rendering stuff was coming out of Microsoft as well. So hey, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Microsoft, especially, if the Project Morpheus does well. Microsoft will have to have an answer on the Xbox One. And then they have the added bonus of having the Kinect packed in already.
Right.
So they might be able to make their VR solution cheaper. Or maybe it just have the Oculus Rift that you bought for your PC works right with your Xbox One. That'll be freaking legit.
That's actually what I think might happen.
Yeah.
Is that, Oculus and Microsoft, Microsoft just implements support into the Xbox because it's only a firmware update, right? To the Xbox.
Exactly.
And that's it.
That's it. That would be awesome.
You have your developers, they're developing for the PC, and all it is just, you're going to have some, minor tweaks and everything, get it on console, but that now you can target the Xbox, the PC, using the Windows binaries and whatnot, and there you go.
And that's going to drag more developers in, like the World of Tanks guys. They said, or like for free to play, or there was an article about free to play that they're looking for, Oculus has shipped like 5 to 6 million units. So if you have like, hey, between Oculus, Xbox, and Project Morpheus, if you have 10 million VR headsets out there, that's definitely gonna attract some developers, man, some software. That's good. That's good news all around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and let you go after I give you my little thought on what I think probably one of the downsides of the mass adoption of VR.
Yeah, yeah.
It's addiction.
Yeah.
Because the old saying there, I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
it's
Now it can be very literal.
right, right.
Yeah, I think that was one of my concerns from the very beginning of this whole thing. I mean, we already have examples of people withdrawing into WoW or StarCraft or whatever, and abandoning the world, even to the point of themselves dying or forgetting to eat and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that is a scary prospect, man. I think there's going to be some people that are going to just want to be in their virtual worlds all the time. And
Emote raise his hand.
yeah, it's like, hey, yeah, for sure. I wonder, I don't, and then, there's the other part of that VR, being a social thing, like that maybe their social life is in the virtual world totally. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting issue. I think it's definitely something that will have to be addressed, and whether designers will have to approach it or it'll become a major social issue because of some event, who knows? But
yeah,
definitely a concern.
All right, man. Well, you have
right.
a good evening, and I'm gonna go grab some more coffee.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Thanks for calling in.
Later.
All right. Thanks for calling Talk VR with Cymatic Bruce. Oh my goodness. Here he is, the Chris. What's happening,
Cymatic,
man?
what's up?
What's happening, man? How you doing?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. For those of you who like to put a name to the face, I'm Ghost55 in the chat, just so everybody knows.
Ghost55.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Sweet.
I've had the handle Ghost for 20 plus years, and it's just stuck, I suppose. But
oh yeah.
I just see the name Ghost thrown around in the chat, whatnot. But so just so everybody knows. But anywho,
Nice.
I was going to initially call in and talk about Palmer's Facebook post, but somebody beat me to it. I just want to say that Palmer is such a it's hard to not like Palmer. He's so down to earth. He's funny because he's got these internet memes with his pelvic thrusts, and he smacked some Asian guy while he was riding a virtual horse. I don't know if you saw that one. The dangers of VR, right? Don't
I
stand too
did.
close.
It was so funny, and then he ends it like, "It's amazing!" Like
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
it's so pure. It's so
Not so much for
man.
this guy, but
It was great. It was
Yeah.
so great.
yeah. So I noticed there's still a few people trolling around on Reddit with posts saying they don't want Facebook anywhere near their VR experience. They don't want social media near their experience, which to me I think they've got it all wrong. And I just want to make the point that anybody who thinks that Facebook wasn't going to get involved in this no matter what, like say they didn't buy Oculus, but Oculus goes and takes off and VR becomes a big thing, Facebook is going to be involved in the metaverse. They're gonna be they have so much money and so much power to throw into this. They're going to be there no matter what. You know what I mean? So you might as well, if you can't beat them, join them, so to speak. And I think the fears that people have that there's going to be these pop-ups in their games and stuff is ridiculous. I think if there's any ads that show up in games whatsoever, it's going to be because of the developers making deals, and it'll probably happen in a fashion where, it's on a billboard sign. Maybe you're in a post-apocalyptic world, and there's like a rundown sign with a Coca-Cola, half ripped off it or something like that, where it's like going to add to the immersion of it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think, if it happens at all.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, advertising needs to be, effective. And it's like, so if, having pop-ups in your virtual world is the number one way to have people ignore your ads, right? So it's like, why would you do that? It's just like product placement in shows. You don't hit people over the head with it if you just have, the label facing the camera and, make it subtle. I think we're going to see a lot of that stuff in VR where, it was kind of halfway attempted with some, I remember, what was it? Enter the Matrix kind of had that old game where it was like, the vending machines were actually like
Love
Mountain
that
Dew
game.
or whatever. Oh man, it's such a fun game. It was very cool. And but it was yeah, I think you're gonna see that type of thing where you're gonna be in a virtual environment and it's gonna add to the realism and immersion when you're gonna have, it's going to be an advertisement where it's Nuke Cola or Pepsi Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
It's adding to the immersion there, and it's I say more power to the devs if they can get someone to pay their bills for, adding to the immersion of their world. Yeah, I think it'll be much more along the lines of the TV shows and like product placement type stuff. So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is just. It's you never know how old someone is on the internet. Like I'm reading all these business articles, and pretty much the narrative they're saying is that Facebook made this announcement and the internet went crazy, and all the fans were like, no, and it's like that wasn't really the way it happened. Everyone was like, really, Facebook? Why? What is their motive? And then after we got some reasons, we're like, cool. I think the VR development community in general is totally okay. With and even excited for this and
well, because there's two sides of it. There's the gaming aspect of it, and then there's the metaverse, and there's the social media side of it. And I think people are trying to connect those two. Like all of a sudden, this social media side, is going to creep into my gaming and stuff. I think they're going to be kept completely separate. I think their focus is going to be on the other side of it. They're going to let Oculus take off and do the gaming aspect of it, and we probably won't even notice anything. But a few years down the road, when the metaverse starts taking off, there'll be some sort of a way to connect socially, and Facebook will definitely be involved in that. I have no doubt.
No doubt, yeah. Facebook's trying to keep themselves relevant, keep themselves in the game for the long run. And take their eggs out of the one basket that they have at Facebook.com and put it all over the place, yeah, they're smart, and they have billions of users. They have internet. They're putting in place with drones, lasering down internet to places that are hard to get internet. But they're making some real moves to get internet to as many people as possible and to have users. So, and I mean they have a structure in place where it just makes sense. It just makes sense, man. I mean, it's like, hey, I don't totally agree with some of the moves they've made, but there's all kinds of growing pains with figuring out how to get the internet to make money. Like everyone's having all these growing pains, and there's some stumbling blocks along the way, and I think Facebook has their work cut out from a PR standpoint, but I think they are the partner that makes sense for sure.
Yeah, well, Facebook and Google are going to be behind those drones, and they're saying it's going to bring 1 gigabyte per second internet to pretty much the whole planet, which was a shock to me. I thought there's no way they're going to get that speed out of flying drones, but apparently that's what it's going to be, which is amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
It's nuts. It's a combination of like knowing exactly where the drones are and then lasers. I was like, lasers, magic and lasers, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's really impressive, and that's an ultimate equalizer, man. When everyone has access to the internet like that, that's gonna be amazing.
We all have buddies that live out in the sticks.
Yeah.
That we wish had high-speed internet that could game with us and whatnot. But
Totally.
Hopefully, a few years down the road they'll be able to. I have another question for you. There's a article asking the question: will VR make flat panel TVs obsolete? What do you think about that?
Oh man, that was interesting. I heard Palmer speak on this in a video where he was saying, hey, this is the deal. For a flat panel TV, you're talking about materials, you're talking about the weight of the plastic, the glass, the electronics, packaging it up in a big box, shipping it from where it's produced in Taiwan or Japan or China to the shelf of the store in Illinois, and having it sit there in inventory and take up space. Yeah, I think Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think for a lot of people, I think it's these things happen so slowly. I think it's got to be comparable to like the landline and the cell phone. Like there's so many of us that like we do not have a landline. Like I have a cell phone only. All of my friends pretty much. I don't have any friends that have landlines that I know of. Everyone has a cell phone and that's it, right? And if you have a landline, it's because maybe you're in the Santa Cruz Mountains or somewhere crazy. But all of my aunties, uncles, and parents have landlines, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing with like some of the HD TVs. Like I still have aunts and uncles. I go over their house and they have a standard definition television, man. Not even flat screen. It's a box. So yeah. So I think that there's going to be this kind of midway point. But yeah, I think it does make sense for things to go that way. As virtual reality gets to the point where if it's something like it's comparable to sunglasses that you're putting on, and suddenly you're in a theater or in a room where you can make the screen as big as small as you want it,
Yeah.
and someone next to you can put on their pair of glasses and be in the same virtual room or see the same virtual item that you're seeing. I think
Yeah.
at that point, yeah, the flat panel, that physical television is kind of, becomes a little bit obsolete. I think there's always going to be uses for having a physical monitor. There are just certain things that they're really good at, and I think having multiple people come over and sit and watch around the same screen, I don't know if that's ever going to go away. I don't know. I mean, what happens when you have a party and everyone wants to come and watch a movie?
Well, my opinion on the subject is kind of off base in that I don't think virtual reality is going to replace the flat screen. I think it's going to be augmented reality.
Yes,
For the
totally
simple
agree.
reason that, if I'm sitting in my living room, I don't need to have a TV up on the wall. I can be sitting on my couch and I can put on my AR glasses and I can have my TV and I can be sitting there, and it could be like a 40-inch and I can be sitting there going bigger, 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 wall size. And I could be watching the hockey game while my wife is watching, Sex in the City or something like that.
Yeah.
So we can be watching completely different things. And to somebody who doesn't have glasses on, there's nothing on the wall.
Yeah.
Or it could follow you around. And at the same time, I get to be in my house and in my physical environment, look after my kids, because I think people aren't always going to want to go to VR, and they're not always going to be able to go to VR. So I think VR is going to pave the way, and AR is going to be this wing that comes off. And I think AR is going to introduce a lot of people to VR because it's going to be more useful to a lot of people who they don't want to go to a virtual world all the time, and they want to use this. Or it doesn't have to be TVs per se. Maybe you're sitting on your couch, and I want to carry on a conversation with you, and you're in virtual reality. It can pluck you right out of virtual reality and sit you on my couch. So I'm sitting in my living room, and I see you sitting on my couch, and you maybe see me sitting on your couch, and we're having this conversation. So I think those two technologies are going to get married. I don't think it's a question of if it's going to replace these panels. It's just a question of when, and it'll probably be augmented reality.
Yeah, I can totally follow you there. I think the more and Abrash had a few blogs about this, but he's like, the more we figure out about how to do virtual reality and how to do it well, it's also simultaneously solving problems for augmented reality. It's like, once we get these things down with the tracking and the latency and all these things, that's also going to fold right into AR, because AR is a harder engineering problem to tackle. But as we solve these things in VR, direct application to AR, I think that's going to be the deal. It's going to be a thing where it's going to be a pair of glasses that look just like this, but are able to, or contacts, as Google has put a camera in a contact lens now, that is just going to be, whatever you look at, it's going to, bam, there it is. It'll be
Yeah, cool, man. Well, that's pretty much all I had. I'll open it up for other people to call in.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for calling, Chris. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, no problem.
All right.
Cheers.
Excellent. Sweet. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Let me show you guys something. Now that we had that conversation, about physical screens being replaced. This was a fascinating film called Sight. And you can see this here. Yes, allow this. Jeez. So what we have is this is really cool. I don't know if you've seen this before. This video is so crazy, so creepy, but so interesting. It's an older one, but so this guy has these contacts. So this is a VR experience that he's doing right now, right? It's Superman 64, the future version. It's amazing. So he's playing Superman 64.
Well done.
A VR version, and in his contacts bring him back to the real world.
Welcome.
See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. This is like crazy, crazy, crazy. But this is some of the stuff I'm saying where it's like it gamifies your entire life. It's like, oh, cut it there, cut it there. This is just so crazy, man. But this is where we're headed. I think this is the type of thing that it's really feasible. It's like, oh, you messed up. You suck. You need to cut your vegetables better. It's making a game out of everything. But anyway, so uh-oh. Let me go back here. So see, he's looking at a blank wall, but it's
Patrick.
basically displaying all kinds of wild stuff. Oh, what? There we go. So it's all blank wall, but he's looking at this and seeing just all kinds of craziness. So basically, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know, combination virtual reality, augmented reality in the same unit. That's going to be the thing that just totally just takes over. You know, straight up, put it in your eye. And you want VR, it'll take you to another place. You want AR, your apartment is minimalist, empty, and it just fills in information in front of your eyes contextually. That is amazing. That would be an amazing future. So at that point, yeah, you know, at no point would you need a monitor there. Like, is there a reason to have a physical display? No. And you know, grandma is not going to want to get a contact with a camera in it in her eye, maybe. You know, grandma's going to keep watching her Samsung HD screen or whatever it is. But yeah, most people, I think they're going to go for that. And get rid of these hiccups. Jeez. Yeah. And then, you know, all the way up to implants, which is just like scary, dude. So freaking scary. Because all I'm saying is that no technology is perfect. Could you imagine the heart bleed bug on an implant? It just, people can force you to brain dump. How much would that suck? Oh, man. Trying to get rid of my hiccups here. All right. Mind bleed and heart bleed. Jeez. So crazy. All right. We are looking into the caller, Nuke Marine, once again. Thank you for calling Talk VR. Hey. Whoa.
Hey. Decided to wear my BCG's birth control glasses.
Oh, there we go. The BCGs in the house.
Yeah, that's going to be great about VR or whenever it comes to the tech when they replace eyeballs so you don't have to worry about glasses anymore. Which, again, we're just, way I put in there, we're just complex chemical reactions, and we're just kind of adapting to, you know, what we have on hand until we improve it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I love that idea. So you're talking about, I think a story that I enjoyed, but you can't really show it online, was the subtle or the gentle seduction. And I enjoyed that story because they posted it, but it's talking about how you just don't throw something throw great technology at somebody, expect them like grandma to just grab it. You do like they showed on the video. You do the Grandma Tuscany video where, hey, here's something small, you know. Tell me what you think about it. Okay, hey, we're gonna move you around to a different location. Now, what do you think about it? Okay, we're gonna put this controlling hand, let you move yourself around. Now, what do you think about it? You know, gently introduce people to this new technology, because this is technology extreme. This is something that blows Carmack's, you know, hair back. All right, and if something's gonna blow his hair back, he knows it's gonna melt the minds of other people.
Exactly. It's just absolutely.
So I went over that last week when I was talking about, hey, when you introduce these demos to people, you know, you can't just, you know, we've already been sensitized to VR, right? You cannot go and just take your reactions to it and assume that's going to be the reaction to everybody. Like right now, I've had a very good reaction to VR. I love playing games in VR. I love watching movies in VR. I love watching TV in VR. I don't have a very good gaming rig. In fact, I'm on a laptop right now, and so I've never been into the high resolution. So I never saw what the best games had to offer. So to me, the low res of the Oculus Rift right now, the DK1 is still awesome. I could watch TV shows. I've watched, you know, I'm watching Cosmos on. I've watched, you know, 3D movies. You know, more 3D movies on the Rift than I've ever seen in my whole life. Yeah. And I still enjoy it. I watch regular movies, and then when you hear about, and I hear these complaints because I think they've been termed like resolution wars or something, like if it's not 4K, get the fuck out type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I had my microphone up. I'm sorry. Were you able to hear me the whole time?
I was able to hear you the whole time.
No, but I'm not that way because again, I'm not a gamer, so I never cared about the extreme graphics, movie-like graphics of a game. To me, I would just watch a Let's Play video of, let's say, the Wolf Among Us or The Last of Us, you know, and have fun there because, you know, it was movie-like. But I've had so much fun with this low resolution of something like a game of Cairo or Dear Esther, where the experience was great, you know, and I didn't, and because of that, you know, I'm now wanting to see what more can be offered, but I'm not hateful of something if it's at a lower quality. And at the same time, I've kind of like tried to take my experience, like, okay, here's where I was from 8 months ago. How did I feel about it? And I try to remember that for when I introduce new people to this technology. So, you know, I cannot put them in dread halls, like I said. But I love showing them like the scene from Avatar where they're climbing up the tree and they look down the tree and you get to see this essentially all open sea. I've seen people, you know, whoa, like step back as if they're about to fall over a ledge, but it's a movie. Yeah. And then the whatever that flying thing is called, you know, when it comes out, it scares them, but they love it because it's a bright 3D. And Avatar, even though people hate on that movie, it is a great movie to introduce the Oculus Rift as far as the 3D viewing.
It's beautiful.
And when you're talking about the 3D movie, you know, they're saying like, oh, well, I want to replicate a 4K screen. I need to have that, as if one, I think I'll send you the link, but it was on a Japanese site, but it was just talking about the limits of the eye viewing. And they show you like, hey, unless you're looking straight at it, the resolution doesn't matter. When you're looking straight at it, yeah, you can make it out, but everything just a centimeter outside your focus, you're not seeing the resolution. Your mind is creating it.
Yeah.
And I know that's why they're saying like foveated field of view, so that you don't have to, you know, concentrate where the graphics power is concentrated. But still, we're kind of limited. So as long as the high resolution is where the limits, the physical limitations, where your eyeball can physically move, you don't have to worry about that extra field of view outside that. That could be low resolution. You still want it there because you notice it when it's not there. But if it's just even low resolution blurry, your mind will fill in the gaps. Your mind's very good at that. Where you're, what's the term for the brain now? We are predictive machines.
That's right.
We are quantum computing machines.
That's right. We are pattern recognition
is amazing for the humans, and because of that, we can be fooled. And that's why, you know, again, we're really receptive to VR.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And,
there's just so much in our brains that's just geared to, you know, make sense of certain types of things. So hey, when the circumstances and the variables are correct, our brain is like, yep, this is real. You know, it's like, hey, yep. Mm-hmm.
One thing, another thing that I've heard complaints about, because besides the low resolution, but that's only going to improve. The resolution will. So we do need improvements there.
Yeah.
Is the need of stereoscopic 3D with respect to high field of view or 360 videos. If you already saw the Explore Japan, that's in 2D, all right. But
Yeah.
your brain, being your brain. If you were a blind, let's say if you're a blind man, great, VR means nothing. But if you're a one-eyed man, VR, 2D, he would just look at you and say, well, welcome to my world, asshole.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was still, but you know what? It's still amazing. You look around, your mind will put in the distance because it knows what the real world is supposed to be like. So it can put in, it will fill in the gaps for you.
It will.
And
Absolutely.
the 360 video, and you don't, if you're going to go with the city experience, then let's talk about, for not resolution, but let's just talk about bandwidth. Or if you want to save on bandwidth, you don't have to put everything behind you. As long as the real stuff is in front of you, okay, fine. Put a non-moving image behind you so that your brain's not saying complete black space there, but you don't have to put action behind you. Mm-hmm. The way I was trying to explain it is like what virtual reality can do. It can bring back, imagine, have you gone to a theater play? Like actually like a stage play?
Absolutely. Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, you could be sitting in the audience. That could be the actual rendered portion. So that's the computer generated portion that's easy to go. You don't have to take up much space. And in front of you can be the high field of view. It may be stereoscopic 3D, but of the play. And I could say, like, if you want to see a future of VR, one of it could be bringing back stage plays. Broadway can put the camera in the audience. You can go and sit and watch it, even though. And you may want to go see different performances because that's a beautiful thing about plays. It's like, hey, they have different actors tonight. I want to see how they react to it. You don't. Whereas a movie, it's like you see that movie, that's it. But the beautiful thing about plays, you get to see how different artists, different actors interpret that part.
Oh man, yeah, that's a very cool concept, man. Oh man, be like
I mean, think about it. I mean, how many people rewatch football? What changes about the goddamn game?
Yeah.
You got to see every game. But you know what? They do it because every game is different. The basic rules are the same, but the interpretation week by week makes it exciting.
Exactly.
It could be the same way when you see different plays. And again, that's something they can bring grandma into virtual reality or bring grandpa into it. Everybody's saying like, oh, porn's going to push VR or games are going to push VR. They will. But if you want to get acceptance, and that's where the strength of the Facebook comes into play, you got to get these things that are not about gaming. It's about experiencing, putting you where somebody else is at. Even if you're not having to move around, the experience of seeing what it is there.
Absolutely.
Especially now that we've, with Janice or the former Firebox, we've been experimenting with photospheres and video spheres. It works. You put the little, have you seen those yet?
I don't think I've seen, no, I did see them in that big room. It was like a video playing on a floating cube, a floating sphere, and like an arch.
Right, and it was Firefox G. He created that because he's been doing the little metaverse example. So he was doing the example of Facebook, Amazon, Google, YouTube.
Yeah.
He was showing like, hey, here's some examples of how maybe these websites will show their website in VR. But part of that was what I'd figured out is like, hey, take a sphere, invert it so it's on the inside, sort of like with VR Player. But when you walk inside the sphere, all of a sudden you're in a different world, and you just walk out of the sphere, you're out of the world again.
So awesome.
And I was trying to take like the photospheres from Google Street View and save them because apparently there's an app now you can save them as a what they call a rectangular. I forget the term.
Like a panoramic or like
panoramic, but in a
like
rectangular
a
display.
Yeah.
And take like the videos from the White House and put them in the locations where it be. So you're actually walking through instead of it being moving by arrows. You're actually walking through sort of where the White House is using photospheres, and it
Awesome.
works. It's kind of weird. It was like an experiment just happened to work out. And hopefully people can say, hey, this works, and they can do some cool stuff with it. So what one guy did is he created the Washington Monument, and around the monument, he put the photospheres from Google Street View. So you get to see it as a computer, but he also walked in the photosphere, and you see it from that point of view. It works great. Just some things, what people need to, and that's sorry to skew. Let me
No problem.
skew it to Janus VR.
Yeah.
What this program is doing is it's allowing it to where idiots like me can create visual experiments in virtual reality. Like I'm a fan of Game of Thrones. Someone took Game of Thrones and in Minecraft they've made it so it's Westeros craft.
Mm-hmm.
So they created all these areas around the Game of Thrones. So let's say Baelor Sept, where Ned got ahead. Let's say.
There we go.
So I took it, and the other guy had a program where it was meant to take the Minecraft, strip it out, and so for 3D printing. But he found out you can also take that same 3D printing object,
Mm-hmm.
and since it's a computer file, and you can put it into Janus.
Oh, nice.
So you can visit this Minecraft world without downloading Minecraft and doing that part.
Oh, it's
So
cool.
now it's just a matter of going to a web page. So I put it as a web page. Here's a boat dock. Here's Baelor Sept. Here's a house. So in other words, game developers can go and just demonstrate their video game. Just put it onto a website that you go to. You're not downloading the game. You're just seeing what the game looks like. And it's like, hey, I like what this looks like. Now I want to go download the game. I'm not having to put an investment there. Instead, I'm just visiting the location of his game. And so that's something that I see Janus bringing to the table that I'm not seeing anywhere else. Everything else is like you have to get the game first, and then if it accepts whatever, you can experience it.
Yeah.
This is doing something a little different. It wants you to be able to experience everything,
Yeah.
as long as you're willing to put it up there. So hopefully, if you ever get a chance, I would say if you get a chance, do an interview with that guy, James McRae.
Yeah,
McRae?
Mr. McRae, man. We've had some messages go back and forth a little bit, so I've been trying to, I'll be connecting with him and seeing what's going down. But yeah, he's definitely good. I want to make a page of my own within now Janus and not Firebox. So yeah, I want to make a page of my own in there and have my mark. But yeah, it's a brilliant concept. I'm loving where it's going, and I think it's a really cool. I mean, what an effective way to sell your game. I mean, if the website is supposed to be giving me some information about the game, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to see what this level looks like, and it's like, oh man, I can see this weapon floating around in front of me, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
One guy,
that's
he
so
put the
cool.
First level of Doom in there, because you just save it as a object file, and just
Yeah.
walk through Doom.
There you go. Bam. Oh, it's wild.
And the other thing was, shoot, lost my train of thought. But darn it.
Oh.
But no. Wait, and the other thing I did, I thought it was just all this creative stuff that can happen as long as you've got this open platform. Since it's a website, I created a subreddit called VR sites, and the idea was,
Yeah.
hey, you can only put links to stuff you can watch in VR.
Yeah.
And then so now you can go and rate these links based on what's cool. And then that way the best rated room is right near the front when you walk through the door.
Yeah.
Hey, there is the Game Boy world. Have
Yeah.
you ever gone to the Game Boy world yet?
I've not gone yet. I need to
Oh,
go.
jeez.
I'm
Oh,
missing out, man.
Get the latest VR one.
Uh-huh.
I would tell you it's like on the second floor or whatnot, but just go to the Reddit room,
Uh-huh.
like Reddit VR sites, and it's in one of those. There's not too many links, and there's the link to
Nice.
Pixel Island. You gotta go to see that one. That is you're walking through a Game Boy.
That's so
level.
awesome.
Oh my god!
Sweet. I will be doing that. That sounds sweet. That's so awesome. I've been I subscribe to the subreddit, so I've seen things pop up, and I'm doing something else. I'm like, oh my god, I need to do that. I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. Oh, and I'm like, oh no, work. But no, that's so cool, man. I'm totally down.
That's what I like about it is that the idea is like, hey, this is just anything this VR sites, but then you can have subreddits or the idea is like, hey, this is a subreddit for VR links that are horror related, or these are subreddits for VR links that are 360 video related, or these are pornographic related. Who cares?
Exactly.
As the world gets bigger, you can then divide up like, hey, what is my preference? And bam, it's there. And that's using an existing structure, Reddit, or in this case, an existing structure, Facebook, and just tacking on some other program that happened to work. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're hitching a ride to that wheel.
Nice. That's what I'm talking
All right.
about. I can dig that.
I have wasted so much of your time. I'm sorry. Okay.
Not wasted at all, man. It's great
right.
contributions. Thank you so much, Newt.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. All right, awesome. I'm going to pause on the calls right now, and we're going to move to our next crazy thing going on. Next topic, but I don't want to ignore the chat here. Sorry, you guys, I haven't seen. I'm just trying to engage people in conversation and not get too overwhelmed. And I don't want to ignore you guys in the chat either. Thank you for the office, Andrea Shaws. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm having, I'm digging the office, man. It's cool. Let's see, overwhelmed by all the stuff going on in VR. Yeah, I'm starting to. It's a little nuts. I mean, news-wise, it's just everything is happening, and there's so many people that are just doing very awesome things. But I think I'm just being overwhelmed in general. I have too many jobs, and also I get emailed constantly, and I'm just trying to keep up with people, and people like email, and they want to either partner or they want to just let me know about something and want me to play something, and I get messages in Reddit or YouTube, Twitter. I'm trying to keep track off of all this stuff, and unfortunately, I can't hire a secretary, but I would if I could. It'd be great. but I wear myself ragged because it's worth it right now. I'm putting myself out there, and I am having a blast communicating and networking with everyone. I think it's going to lead to something great. So, yeah, but yeah, definitely would say I'm getting overwhelmed. There's just so much going on here, from news to events to go to my personal obligations I have with all the stuff that I'm now involved in. That all started by making one video with a few impressions of some things, and it just went from there. Oh my goodness. Anyway, enough of listening to Bruce whine about his poor situation that is of success. Let's check out a slightly different topic. Let's change gears here, and let's talk about movies, cinema in VR. So we have the esteemed Sir David Attenborough is working on an Oculus Rift nature documentary. So it's going to be Conquest of the Skies, being filmed by a production company, featuring 360-degree video. It does not say stereoscopic anywhere in this article. It just says 360-degree video. So take that as it is. But it is exciting that famous, guy, Sir Attenborough, is just done all kinds of things like for the BBC and just some of the really epic nature programs that have been out there. To have him do something in the Oculus Rift sounds very, very exciting. So that is awesome. Other news we have here in this space is this guy. Look at this cool guy, James Cameron. He's I forgot the South Park song, but it's crazy, this dude. And he's chipped in his 2 or 5 cents about VR. The highlight of this is that this guy has, of course, followed VR very closely for a very long time, just as in involvement with film, with IMAX, and 3D, and all this good stuff. But he has not got to try a chance to try Rift yet. So he's going to have a Rift coming to him soon. But he's been involved with VR in a long time. So I think we might be on the edge of something very exciting, because James Cameron hasn't put a Rift on his face yet. So he doesn't really know about this new wave of VR with this very wide field of view. And all this stuff. So I wonder how much he's been exposed. He states himself that he's very familiar, but he hasn't seen the specific Oculus Rift device. So, once James Cameron puts an Oculus Rift on James Cameron, for the sake of James Cameron, I believe James Cameron will be very excited, and then also lead us to James Cameron. So that's what I'm talking about. So that's very exciting. He's very interested in it. He's going to get one in a month or so. And basically, he's you know, he's just interested in this prospect, and from a guy that's really on the edge of pioneering what good 3D video or 3D cinematics look like. It's very, very exciting. And he had a very interesting idea about kind of a choose your own adventure movie where you have kind of cinematically directed places that you go, and then you have one place that you can go choose, or you can choose another. And he said, yeah, this will be super expensive to do and lots of trouble and a pain to do, but it would be a very cool idea. So that's coming from the James Cameron there. And then, of course, we have the super, super exciting Jaunt VR. I've talked to these guys, saw them at GDC and also at CES. I've promised to come down and try it and haven't got down there yet to see them. They're local, but in California here in the Bay. My Road to VR colleagues have tried this and just said how blown away they were. And this is something different. This is true stereoscopic 3D 360 degrees. And it's a special, awesome camera rig that they have going on here. And it is fascinating. It is not only 3D, but also you can see here, this is a three-dimensional microphone. So based on what direction you're looking at head tracking, it actually switches the audio feed over to a different microphone. So you're getting, audio as well. Yeah, it is just very, very exciting. This might be, the go-to tool that we see being used for 3D cinematics, stereoscopic 3D 360 videos. And from what I've heard, some of the experiences are amazing. Oh, you guys want some pizza? Oh, man. You know what? It's too late. I already ordered you know what? I shouldn't even be holding this up. I need to get some ad dollars, people. I'm not holding this up if I'm not getting paid by Domino's. Screw that. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. I did. That's why I'm getting the ad, because I freaking ordered Domino's earlier. So that's hilarious. Oh, Caliber, don't have your feelings hurt, man. Oh, I'm sorry, honey boo boo. No, not honey boo boo. I thought I'm sorry, honey bunch. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. I was so hungry. Oh my god. So yes, very good. This is just out of control. Bought out for 2 billion. Freaking dipping sticks, dude. I don't know about the dipping sticks, but I would take lava cake stock. Those things are freaking delicious. I put them in the freezer. They're so good. But anyway, we have VR cinema. And on top of just these three, we have some major players. Attenborough, Cameron, really excited about the prospect of filming in VR. But we have all this other stuff going on. We have Condition 1. We have Jaunt VR, which is doing very exciting things. We have Color, off in France, are doing really cool stuff. Ashako, off to bed, man. Have a good night. Later, man. Later. So you just have all of this stuff just happening, just going on around making 360-degree video and finding ways to make those videos easier to record and then having some really unique experiences. I mean, now there's going to have to be really a whole new vocabulary or a visual vocabulary developed when you're developing movies like this, because the standard cuts and the type of shots that you do when you're close, mid, long, those are meant for a static screen, a rectangle that a person is looking at. Now when a person is in the experience, is the fade the standard? How do you get a person to focus on a certain thing that's going on in the world? If they can look 360 degrees around them, how do you get their attention and keep it at the same spot? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't changed the pool or the poll. I haven't changed the poll tonight yet. That is a great thing. Let me check that out. I might have to do that to see what the poll is about here. Let's see. Here's a poll. I'm gonna stop this one. Last poll was about Japan making the VR killer app, and most of you thought Japan was gonna do something, or that was gonna be porn. So that's cool. Next question is about this. What we're talking about. Who will make the first VR blockbuster? Like that thing, that movie that's in first-person VR that just blows everyone away and everyone has to see it. Is it going to be James Cameron? Is it going to be Sir Attenborough? Let's put him in there. Is it going to be what else is some kind of crazy director that would probably be on this? You know, what is going to be that first VR blockbuster? Is it going to be like a CG film? Maybe it's Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks, one of those guys. Is it going to be Guillermo del Toro? Oh my god, that guy. Oh my god. I watched Pacific Rim when I was working yesterday, or I had it running in the background while I was working. And I was imagining as I saw some of the things in that film, like, oh, if this was in VR right now, oh my god. I want the Pacific Rim VR title. I think that would be so sick. So yeah, J.J. Abrams, I think, is another. Maybe we do some VR Cloverfield, or maybe it's an unknown. Maybe it's some unknown director. Awesome. Poll is up. So who's gonna make that first VR blockbuster? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna make that first VR title that just blows everyone's minds? Joss Whedon. That's another guy, the Weed Man. He might make something really incredible. This is true. Disney is in a freaking renaissance right now. Like Walt Disney Animation, I am totally digging their stuff, man. Since pretty much Tangled, it's been golden. It's been Tangled, then Wreck-It Ralph, then Frozen. Man, and then the next thing they have is it's like a Marvel property, the Big Number 6 or something like that, in San Francisco or something. Oh my goodness, very excited about Disney Animation and them doing something very cool. Marvel as well. Jeez, that would be so cool. So, yeah, what are we thinking about this whole VR cinema situation? This whole, like, you know, movies and cinema in virtual reality. What's gonna come of it? I wonder. The Ring VR, Caliber? No, never. I will never watch a horror movie in virtual reality. I guarantee you this. Playing a horror game is worse. The Ring is such a scary film. They're like, Japanese horror films are the worst, Caliber. Like The Ring, dude, The Grudge. Oh my goodness, because they don't really have a resolution. They just, like, the person seems to get away and then suddenly they're just, the ghost just follows them across the country and is still in their bed and shit. I was like, dude, screw that, you know, screw that. It's not like American movies when you can get the hell away, you know. Thank you for calling Talk VR with Cymatic. Bruce Dubs, tell me something good, man.
Yeah, it's just me again. Don't worry.
All right. Excellent. Big knee. Yeah, tell me something about VR movies, VR cinema, man.
VR cinema. Well, that's certainly quite a topic to get just started with.
It's huge.
You see, I just personally see all the... first thing I think of, rephrase this, is all the problems, I guess, that VR cinema has to come up against.
Yes.
You know, you see all these circular cameras with the GoPros and all that there's still, you know, the problem with filming in stereo at infinite focus, and you can never have translation if you're, like, filming in 360 degrees, you know, like, so you, with the DevKit 2 and in any movie, you'll never be able to, well, I shouldn't say never, but it'd be very difficult to ever do translation, you know, leaning around. It'd always just be standard.
Yeah.
You know, you can look around the ball that the camera is mounted on.
And you know what? I think the exception to that is going to be the CG film.
That's what I was gonna, yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was gonna. Oh, yes. But let me see if I can find this and pull this up. Surfs up. Virtual. Let Let me see if I can find the actual. There was like this behind-the-scenes video of. What the heck?
What do you? Well,
I think I have too many tabs open in Google. It's like, you know what? No, you don't
I
get
hope
to
you
search.
don't crash here.
I hope not. Like, it's like you don't get to search anything else. You're done. You're through. Let's see here. Is it gonna do it for me?
What's it called?
It was
my reference?
It was a Surf's Up. Oh yeah, it's not letting me do it. So Surf's Up is this. It was this movie. Shia LaBeouf was the main character. It was like these penguins that all are trying to go to this island, Pingu Island. That's what it was, to go surfing, right? I watched this
back
movie.
in 2007.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's an older film, but basically, it was filmed as if it was a reality film, right? So what happened is that the director had an actual, like, a facsimile of a camera that he held on his shoulder, and he moved into space, and he was tracked in real time, and that tracking translated to the 3D environment. Like, they had a rough render that they did in real time, so he was filming the 3D environment in real time.
I actually remember seeing that now that you mentioned this. I actually remember seeing that special reel of what you're talking about.
Awesome. That was amazing. That blew my mind. I was like, this dude is like virtually filming his CG movie. That's crazy. But I think that's what's gonna have to happen. It'll have to be a CG film, and then you put the person in it in real time, and then they are witnessing as a kind of spectator most of the time, but they can lean in and around because it's just everything is rendered in real time around them.
I can see it.
Yeah, so
maybe it requires a supercomputer, but it could happen.
Yeah. I mean, think about something on the level of, like, How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Exactly.
In real time, what kind of beastly machine would you have to do to to render that in real time from multiple angles too? Like, just let me look around Toothless and look under his paw.
It could be a pre-rendered. I don't know though. See, this is when it gets complicated, because they could give you a range that you could look possibly, and when you get to the edges of said range, it would fade out or fade in. Something along the lines of what they did in the Crystal Cove demo when you were getting outside the tracking range. This is just for an example. It would fade you out of the game. Exactly. Similarly, if you're outside of the rendered area in a movie, it would fade you out of the movie. So you might have a range to be immersed in watching your movie, but you couldn't go completely 360, but I don't think if it's necessary. You're still watching what the director wanted you to watch, but you have a little bit of freedom to look around.
That can totally work. That would be amazing if you. That'd be a great way to pause the movie too. If you just scoot out and maybe if you put your Rift in a certain position, it knows you take it off and it automatically pauses your film. That would be pretty neat. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Fading in and fading out is still, in general, this is gonna be what changes a VR movie as far as cutting goes, scene to scene, because you can't just do a clean cut now if someone's face is connected to your film. You have to do a fade or something.
Absolutely true. Like, I experienced that firsthand when I saw some 360 videos where they just cut, just like a normal film would. And it is jarring, man. Like, one second your face is like above a bar, and the next, like, you blink, and it's like, oh, there's a woman here. I'm in the living room. What just happened? Like, what's going on? Yeah,
because you're there.
Yeah, it's just like, it just feels like you're there. Like, you just actually teleported. It's so eerie to experience that. So yeah, it's going to be a whole new visual language for this type of film. It's going to be like a subgenre.
It'll further complicate the filmmaking, because this is what I'm talking about. People are going to think about it if they're going to make a movie for VR. Because think about any movie you watch, it'll cut between two people speaking to one another over and over again, and it'll cut all the little cuts you don't even really think about that happen during a movie. They're happening all the time. You can't do any of that.
Yeah, imagine Scott Pilgrim in freaking VR. Scott Pilgrim had so much editing, like so many cuts. It was, I don't know if it stayed on any screen for more than 20 seconds. It was just like.
And that it just won't happen.
Yeah. I think definitely. It will need a different approach altogether.
Do you know what travel Japan was filmed on? What they used for that?
I am not sure what they used to make that video.
Because I'd be interested to know. Because what were your impressions about that? I know you played it.
Yeah,
on
I played it last
Sunday.
last stream on Sunday. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I had trouble discerning if it was in 3D or not, because there was certain things that really felt like, whoa, that's 3D, or whoa, that feels really close. But it was all about the motion of the camera and parallax and other depth clues that were really doing that for me. So it wasn't stereoscopic 3D, but it was still impressive. It looked beautiful, and yeah, definitely enjoyed it.
Because that could be, because if you're not, the reason I asked about the camera is because if you don't, the reason you might not know if it's 3D is because maybe they did an artificial translation of like just one camera perspective, and they made a second one by cutting it a bit to the left, and so they had a wide field, and they, created 2 out of 1 instead of having a true stereo 2 cameras recording. So that could maybe, I don't know, that's maybe what happened.
Yeah.
Speculation.
Speculation abound. Absolutely.
I don't know what else to say about as far as directors go. I read the announcements, both of them.
Yeah.
It's not much, to be honest, really. Both of them kind of just said interested.
Yeah, it's not really like, it's very light on the content, right? I was hoping to find more. It's like, oh, we got a project that we're thinking about using. It seems pretty cool, right, you guys? It's like, oh, wait, no.
I wonder if, Attenborough at the tender age of whatever, 96, actually put on an Oculus and looked around. That'd be pretty interesting to see.
That'd be so awesome. Yes, it's like, by word, this is fantastic.
And here we see the elephants migrating across the field.
Keep both eyeballs upon the lemurs. They're everywhere.
You can imagine what it would be like. He'd say, he'd give you cues, he'd be like, look to your left. It'd be like an actual safari.
Yeah! That would be amazing! The safari with Sir Attenborough. That would be wild. It'd be like, if you look on your left, you'll see the meerkats peering over that hill just there. Like, that would be very cool.
Maybe that's what we're gonna get.
I would love that. I would love it to pieces, for sure.
Anyway, I don't know. I think I'm done as far as anything else I can add. I'll let you go on to someone else.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for calling in, Duz. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right. Sweet sauce. All right, this is going to be the last call of the evening. It's now 11:49. I'm about to sign off here, but no problem. Thanks for calling Talk VR. Dave. What's going on?
I just had a little something to add to the entire movie thing.
Add it on, man.
So how you like have all the special features and stuff like that when you buy a DVD or a Blu-ray nowadays?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would actually be really cool is instead of making the movie for VR. Sorry, I'm completely out of frame here.
Oh, no.
So instead of making a movie in VR, why don't you just create a VR environment that the movie was based in, right?
Yeah, I think that would be great. Just like they do the Blu-ray and DVD menus that are based on the film. Have an environment that is based on the film, and then you can watch the movie in a VR interface of your choosing. I think that would be a really neat. That would be an amazing tie-in to VR as well. Like if every movie just had that, had that packed in, it'd be sweet.
Yeah, this is Savior and.
Sound cut out, buddy.
Savior NT from chat.
All right.
And. I keep going on about Hellraiser and all this, but how cool would it actually be to, instead of seeing the movie in 3D, you could actually visit the Hellraiser space. You're not a part of the movie or anything, but it's like a game world.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be so wild to have objects that you can examine and really get up on, little artifacts from the film and stuff like that.
Right.
Oh, that would be sweet. That would be so cool. And maybe if that was online, and you would get there and friends, and then kind of talk about the movie and like, oh, what is that? Oh man, yeah, I could dig that. That would be very cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it.
It would solve a lot of challenges with actually like just creating a movie for VR as well. Just basically make your movie set into a game. Get it into a Unity or something, Unreal Engine, and just make it into a game. Screw it.
There we go. Yeah, freak out.
But-
I love that
But
idea.
yeah. Yep. Well, that's my thoughts on the entire thing. So we'll go ahead and let you get to next caller.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Thank you, D. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Later.
Later. Excellent. Ah, that is a great idea. I appreciate that idea, and I like it a lot. That is very cool. Man, that would be so cool to just have all these movies and then sit like, in a space and then watch the movie and get some popcorn. Oh, man, that would be good. Excellent. So, there we go. I think that about wraps it up. It is 11:53. I'm going to wind this down. I need to get some sleep myself. I have been up for entirely too many hours in a row, and my body is rebelling against my face. So we're going to see what we can do about that. If Oliver is in here, I don't think he is. He's probably sleeping. But I owe you an email, Oliver. I owe you an email, and I will craft that for you. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I had more things I thought I was going to talk about, and we just kind of ran with it with a few of these topics, and that's good. I love when that happens. That's awesome. I have no problem with that. I really like the natural flow of these shows, and I'm not really about, I have an agenda planned out, but if we don't follow it to the T, not a big deal. I'm all about just going with the flow of conversation. It's really fantastic. Oh yeah. Awesome. Well, looks like as a result of the poll, most people think that's going to be it's going to be an animated film. It's going to be Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks, or some other people that are going to make a really awesome VR film, and I tend to agree. I think when you're going to have a seated film and you're going to be like in the middle of it and be able to scoot in, so either each scene will be kind of like a diorama in front of you that you can kind of peek in and get a little 3D effect, or they'll just put you right in the middle of the action, and that will be so awesome. I can imagine being in the middle of the room when like Tangled and are singing that song about having a dream, and you're just looking around the room seeing all these thugs do all this crazy stuff. That would be sweet. But anyway, enough about that. This is some great conversation. Thank you everyone that hung on all night. Thank you to those people that called in. Appreciate it. This is fantastic. I will probably have some news about what I'll be doing in the next few days. I might be doing more even in the VR space, so we'll see. And if it comes to that, I might have to pull back on TalkVR. We shall see. I don't know. I don't know if I can do this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But in any case, it has been a blast. Good night, everybody. Good evening. Good morning. Good day. Blah to blue to blue. I love you guys. I love your faces. You have a great night. And I'm going to get some sleep. So, until the next VR experiment, this is Cymatic Bruce. I'll see you in the void.